Let's talk about it right here
look
from
at this.
timcast.com. House passes bill to decriminalize marijuana federally, and it was the Republicans who said no. Democratic Rep Jerry Nadler passed with a vote. His bill, sponsored by Nadler, passed with a vote of 220 to 204 along party lines. Republican reps Tom McClintock, Brian Mast, and Matt Gaetz joined the Democrats voting in support of the bill. Democrat reps Henry Queller and Chris Pappas voted against it. I would really love to hear from Thomas Massie why he is not listed among these Republicans. Did he vote against this? This is why I don't trust this stuff.
Right. When framing.
When you hear it's like Democrats want to make it so that you can have pot, and then you hear that certain Republicans like Thomas Massie or Marjorie Taylor Greene, maybe not Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's more conservative. Thomas Massie is more libertarian. But I'm like, where are the more libertarian voices? Matt Gaetz is voting for it. It makes me feel like it's probably not exactly what it is.
I can guess why someone would vote against this as a Republican. First of all, Mast just followed me on Twitter, so congrats to him for voting for drug legalization.
Nice.
I think it's a very dangerous, slippery slope if the federal government starts taxing things. That could be what they're concerned about, because that's not a thing.
I bet that's it.
Yeah, and it's proposed that they're going to do a 5% sales tax up to
sales tax is a state level, so now you're going to have a state and a federal tax just for one product.
Yeah.
That is what I think would be the big concern.
And
if I had to guess.
And to be honest, it's 483 pages, which is another reason.
It should be one page.
Yeah.
Marijuana is hereby legal.
This is why I'm saying I don't trust them.
And Massey's good at finding a thing in it that's like, whoa, you're slipping this in. I'm not voting for this.
Yeah, he'll read it.
It's got stuff like coming through Puerto Rico.
Well, the other thing in the bill that I
transfer.
saw is also it's retroactively letting people clear their records.
That's why I was so for it.
Well, Donald Trump, as I stated, should have granted clemency and pardoned all nonviolent drug offenses that weren't that weren't pled down. So some people, at first I was saying like he should let all these nonviolent drug offenders go. Some people are like, well, what if they sold to kids? I'm like, okay. All right, there. I'm not
sure.
Right. So not those people. When they said, what if they did something violent, but took a plea deal? You're right. They should have a review process to go through legitimate cases of someone who was like charged with selling pot to another adult or something. And Trump should just get out of jail.
Like if they had a gun on them.
Can I just add one more thing? If you're someone who is on a grand jury, and the point of a grand jury is the DA or assistant DA puts forth the evidence, and the grand jury says, is there enough evidence here to charge the person and put them on trial? Our legal system, it's not just charge. You have to get those charges approved by a grand jury. If you're on a grand jury, it is very easy to convince those grand jurors not to return charges on a drug charge, and there's nothing the district attorney can do about it. So this is your ability, if someone is a nonviolent drug salesman or whatever, to get that person off and save a life, especially if they're young and poor.
I don't think here's the challenge, and this, I think this will be a good conversation with you, Michael. Are there some drugs that should be illegal?
I can't think of any.
What about like fentanyl?
Well, no, the problem with fentanyl is the dosing.
Right.
Right. It's not like someone is taking fentanyl saying, I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
They think they're taking, let's say, 5 grams and they're getting 50, or that 5 grams is and then your heart can't take and you die. So fentanyl was sold at doses that people knew and understood.
They give it in hospitals.
Yeah, this would be resolved overnight.
So then, well, this is why I ask, right? Because then you have the issue of what if some guy is arrested for selling, let's say he's got 10,000 doses of fentanyl, and let's say they're not misnumbered or whatever, and he dishes them out throughout a city. This person should not be in jail, or what do you think?
This person is Pfizer.
Right.
You just described Pfizer.
That's true. That's absolutely correct.
What about? Do you think there's any drugs that shouldn't be regulated?
What do you mean by? I think all drugs should be regulated by the market. The same way that, for example, if you're Jewish and you keep kosher, it's very important for you that you eat food that is in common with kosher law. Otherwise, it's like a major, major sin. And people don't realize this, but every food in the supermarket has a little letter K,
That's right.
and the K is not even strict enough. So the people who trust there's a U. That's for
the
Passover.
U. Yeah.
If you're really strict, you have to have a U, not a K.
Yeah.
What is the U?
The U is like a different kind of licensing agency, a rabbinical licensing agency. So what you would have is, instead of having it be the FDA, who is is largely corrupt and whatever, you would have, just like right now in Whole Foods, you'll have fair trade or the little stamp. Yeah. I was on the plane just now, and the pretzels on the back said woman owned. So if that's something that matters to you, you can look for that label. I mean, the pretzels would not shut up, and they were really annoying.
But the funny